Hey guys, Pondering Magic here with some spicy spoilers from Modern Horizons. Hey, remember when I said that the set would have to be propped up by valuable lands, otherwise nobody will touch it? Fiery Islet. That's how you pronounce it, everybody on YouTube. So these are brand new, rare slot, never before seen, never before printed, freshly created super lands. They're just simply improved pain lands. So everybody knew when they said, oh, we're not reprinting anything from Modern. Okay, then you're going to print improved versions. Like, you have to print something from Modern. It's called Modern Horizons. So everybody thought there would either be, the joke was snow-covered fetch lands, which wouldn't make any sense because you put them in the graveyard. I mean, I thought it was funny. Or they would just improve upon the other lands that people use, which is shock lands and pain lands. So, realistically, people were thinking snow-covered shock lands. I thought, yeah, that's possible. Nay, likely. But nope, they improved pain lands. So it comes in untapped. You pay 1 life and add either 1 blue or red. So every time you need mana from it, it costs life. I really don't like these lands, by the way. I mean, in some modern games, your life total is important. In some modern games, it's not. And the ones that it's important, these are going to kill you. But wait, there's more. You can also pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice it, and draw a card. So you're losing 2 mana to activate that ability because now this is gone as a resource. But hey, if you really need a card, this is nice. If you're just pulling nothing but land late game, hey, go for it. So it's pretty safe to assume at this point, even though only 3 have leaked, that there's at least 5, if not 10 of these. Although, I'm going to talk about this at the end, but calling these improved might not quite be the best description. So the next one is Sunbaked Canyon, that's red-white, and then we've got Nurturing Peatland. They're just running out of ways to be like, hey, it's fire and water. Hey, it's death and grass. Sunbaked Canyon, get it? It's like fiery heat with land that almost is plains. I think Mark Rosewater's just sitting there with a thesaurus at this point. What's another word for verdant? Oh, it's a flourishing flame land. Okay. So these will be expensive. I mean, they can't get that nuts because pain lands are pretty much considered like a 3rd tier land. I mean, fetch lands, great. The fetchable shock lands, cool. This non-fetchable, okay, it comes in tapped, but it might lose you the game lands, very 3rd rate. I mean, it's not like nobody plays them, but they're not anybody's first choice. I mean, unless you need to take damage or want your life total to go down. I guess these would be the first choice for like Death's Shadow or something. So I couldn't even guess at a price on these. I don't know. I'd like to say like 7 to 10 is where they'll settle at eventually, but they could be like 50 on launch. I have no idea. So next up, we've got Collected Conjuring. What is going on there? Either Chandra has more hands, or that's not Chandra because that kind of looks like a man face, but when has that ever stopped him? Or that's like all the Gatewatch. I don't know, that would be Liliana. You know what? Who cares? It's cool looking artwork. So it's a 4-cost sorcery, blue-red, and it says exile the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast up to 2 sorcery cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Put the exiled cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So I don't know how they would word this, but I would have preferred that they be very clear and say, right now, like immediately cast them. I mean, you have to resolve the second part of the spell, which would put them, on the bottom of your library if you didn't immediately cast them. So obviously it's immediately cast. That's why it doesn't say until end of turn. But they're sorcery speed. You can't just throw 2 sorceries onto the stack normally on top of each other because they're not instant speed. I mean, it's just the tiniest bit misleading. I don't love the way they worded this, especially when you look at like Light Up the Stage and Commune with Lava, both of which say until the end of your next turn you can cast them. Oh, I know what they could have done. Cast them as if they had flash. There you go. Then nobody would be confused. They've just been wording stuff so poorly as of War of the Spark. I don't know if you guys noticed this. And if you're saying, Des, you're making this more complicated than it is. Okay, if Nissa Planeswalker ability says pop up a card and you may play it. Oh, okay, so I can play the land. Oh, not if you've already played a land this turn because that's the game rules. You can play the card if you can play the card. So on this one, it just says you may cast. Well, no, you can't because you're not done resolving this. And you can't. Well, first of all, you can't cast spells in the middle of resolving another spell, so there's that. And then you can't throw sorceries on the stack on top of each other at instant speed. So, no, you can't cast them. So, yeah, within the rules, they needed a different way to phrase this. I see what they're going for, but like I said, that is not how you phrase this. Anyway, moving on, we've got Urza, Lord High Artificer and Emperor of the Moon. Somebody has a high opinion of himself. I think this is the first time Urza himself has appeared on a card. I thought somebody told me that. Wasn't a reliable source, though. We did have his head on a card. So this is a mythic, legendary creature, human artificer, 1/4 for 4, and when he enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with the ability this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Okay, kind of neat. Not too novel. I mean, Karn does this. But wait, there's more. Tap an untapped artifact you control, add 1 blue. Hello. Oh, and guess what? Instead of granting the ability to the artifact, it is an ability of Urza, so it bypasses artifact creatures that would normally have summoning sickness and not be able to tap to do that. I wonder why they did that. Maybe because he just brought out a 0/0 construct. And also, if you pay 5, you can shuffle your library, then exile the top card until end of turn. You may play that card without paying its mana cost. Ooh, that's fun. There was another effect that did that in blue, and it's just so hilarious. I think it's called Unpredictable Results or something like that. That card is hilarious in Commander, so I'm glad they tacked it onto him. Actually, I just looked up the card Unexpected Results. It's a little bit different, but pretty much the same thing. And it's also blue-green. So yay, Urza's finally on a card. Hooray. Next up, we got Chiller Pillar. I love that name. Too bad the card's garbage and the implications for this set are not good. So it's a 3/3 for 4, so Value Town, and you can pay 4 with 2 snow lands of, I guess, any color. I don't know, those look kind of white to me, but I assume it's just snow. I don't know, I didn't play when snow was a mechanic, obviously. And it has monstrosity too, so if it isn't already monstrous, put a 1/1 or put 2 1/1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. Snow can be paid with 1 mana from a snow permanent. Oh, that's right. So it's like Convoke with snow permanents, but also snow lands can generate, I guess not snow mana, snow energy? This is the dumbest mechanic. If they think that Modern Horizons, a 254 card set, is going to make snow suddenly take off in Modern, they are dreaming. This card, 1, isn't good enough, and 2, there's not enough snow they could put in the set to make this work. Not even close. I don't know if it's just in there for draft, or I have no idea. Maybe Commander if people went with snow Commander decks. The fact that they included snow as a mechanic is just the dumbest thing I've seen from this set yet, and that is saying something. Oh, by the way, as long as Chiller Pillar is monstrous, it has flying. Fantastic, I'm happy for you. So play this if you want to slap your opponent in the face with a snow butterfly. Next up, oh, here we go. We've got Pondering Mage, and that's basically the artwork from the card Ponder, which is banned in Modern. This'll go well. Well, it's a 5-cost 3/4 human wizard, so that is borderline unplayable, thank God. When it enters the battlefield, oh, here we go. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, draw cards. So in other words, Ponder. Whatever, they stuck it on a useless, weak, just garbage card, so whatever. Why do they do this? Why are they like, well, yeah, I mean, we had to ban Ponder in Modern and restrict it in Vintage, FYI, because it's overpowered as balls. You know what would be the greatest idea ever? Let's stick the effect on a card verbatim word for word. That shouldn't be a problem, right? I mean, no, because it's a 5-cost unplayable creature, but you're playing with Fire Hair Wizards. What was the point of this? Just to piss people off? So next up, the actual non-promo artwork for Astral Drift. Okay, that is some Evangelion anime stuff right there. Oh, and let's address about 100 or so comments on the first spoiler video when the Spanish one was out. So a lot of people who knew antique cards were like, oh, this is like a functional reprint or an upgraded version of Astral Slide. But, no joke, at least 100 people, I am not exaggerating, posted a comment saying this is a reprint of this card. It is the same card. This is a reprint. Like, this is the same card with the same name. And most of them were unbelievably rude about it, which makes sense. When somebody's completely talking out of their ass and has no idea what they're talking about, they tend to be a jackass on top of it. Let me let you in on a little secret of card design. This is like high-level stuff, guys. Okay, R&D doesn't want me to tell you this, but I'm going to leak this information right now, okay? You can't add cycling to a card and call it the same name. You have to rename it something different, like Astral Drift, which is what it translates to. It can't be the exact same card if you tack on anything to it or change even one word of it, unless it's for Oracle text reasons. How are 100 people this stupid? And they were confident enough to go, Des, you're wrong. This is an existing card. It's called this. It's a reprint. Submit comment. So in celebration of a small percentage of my viewership being that fucking dumb, I pinned and favorited the dumbest comments on the last spoiler video. Like, just the mind-blowingly stupid ones. Just as a little warning to all the arrogant dumbasses in my comment section who constantly tell me I'm wrong. I got this ruling wrong. I got this wrong. I got that wrong. And I just delete the comment because it's just literally blatant misinformation. It is provably not true. Like, that isn't how it works. Like, just the other day I had somebody posting, oh no, that's not how Death Touch and Trample works. Well, it is. So I just delete the comment, but no, I think I'm going to start pinning them just to embarrass you people who think that you know better than me. Why don't some of you go make your own YouTube channel, then I'll come scrutinize all your videos and point out every little thing you got wrong in your video in your comment section, just absolutely tear you apart. It's really fun. It's like the best thing ever. This is such a healthy, friendly community. I swear, if my second channel was the size of this one, I would never make another Magic video ever in my entire life. I am so fed up with the state of the game and the toxic community. So hey, don't forget to subscribe to Desolator Gaming so I can get the hell out of here. Oh, and lastly, there was enough space on the card for it to say in hand. Just FYI, in Spanish, it would have been enough words covered that it could have said from hand. It ended up not saying that, but boy, you guys were sure confident. I don't know if you have X-ray vision or something. So next up, we've got a Nimble Mongoose. It's a 1/1 for 1 with Shroud. What the hell? And you know, why not? Give it Threshold too. Which, isn't that an 8 on the Storm scale? Anyway, Nimble Mongoose gets a +2/+2 as long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard. I liked Threshold, okay? I'm throwing that one out there. It didn't work the way they did it, but as a mechanic, I like it. Anything that's like, okay, the game's been dragging on forever, somebody needs to win, power everything up, crank it up to 11. I can support anything like that. That's what Threshold is. Unfortunately, their implementation of it was a whole bunch of self-discard. And as Mark put it, it turns out people want to play the cards that they put in their deck and drew into their hand. So this could almost only be killed in combat because it can't be targeted. Early game, okay, and then late game, it's a 3/3 for 1. Okay. I mean, it's not great. I'm sure there's some deck it'll work in, but it's still not amazing. But Des, don't you know that it goes in this deck from 100 years ago? I'm just going to delete your comment. Just shut the hell up. I don't play Modern, in case you haven't caught on yet from the first 5 times I said it. So next up, Dismantling Blow. It's a 3-cost instant, white with a blue kicker. That's fun. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. If the spell was kicked, draw 2 cards. Yeah, 6 mana in Modern. That'll happen. DOA, useless card. What's up next? Next up, whatever the hell this says, apparently it's Force of Despair. They're making some cheap forcible knockoffs, but honestly, I mean, they've been situational, but they've been kind of good. Like, that green one's pretty good. So this one, get this. This is pretty wild. So it's double black, single generic, which is a little bit problematic, but okay. It's not like the mana base is that tough in Modern. Instant speed, although that is a lot of letters for instant. If it's not your turn, which is why these are really tough to play, you may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost, and then destroy all creatures that entered the battlefield this turn. Oh, they were so close to making this good if they would have just not said that entered the battlefield this turn. Oh, but Destiny would never do a 3-cost board wipe with a restriction put on it. I mean, other than Bantu's Last Reckoning. Boy, that entered the battlefield this turn. I mean, this is kind of like an ultimate kill spell for dirt cheap, but it'd be so much better if it was single black 2 generic. But then again, you have to have another black card in hand, so like, would you really even put this in a 3-color deck? Probably not, because you'd never get it off reliably. Remember, land cards that generate black mana are not black cards. So I mean, yeah, in a mono black or close to it deck, or like some kind of weird Dimir thing or something, okay. But it's only creatures that enter the battlefield this exact turn. I mean, if it's Dimir, you might as well just run like Negate or Essence Scatter, like whatever generated that many damn creatures all at once. So just like the other Force of cards, they started with something outrageously powerful, and then they watered it down and put like 3 other restrictions on it. So this isn't terrible, but it's so situational, it would be hard to justify even putting this in a sideboard. Well, at least the green Force card is like unbelievably good. Next up we got, oh good, more Russian stuff, yay. Lightning Skelemental is what they're translating it to. Considering that's almost English exclusive, I'd be surprised if that translates over, but okay, I'll take the word for it. So not Skeleton Elemental, Skelemental. Neat. So it's a double red, single black, and it's a Skeleton Elemental. It actually is on the subtype line. And it has Trample and Haste, and it's a 6/1, which is hilarious. This is very similar to some other cards, by the way. Whenever Lightning Skelemental deals combat damage to a player, that player discards 2 cards. Ooh! And then at the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Lightning Skelemental. Okay, this is, what card is that? It was printed really recently. Some devil. Impetuous Devils. That's what it was. So it's an improved version of that. I guess you could say Spark Trooper too, but that's kind of different. So I mean, what's better? Trample 6 and they discard 2 cards, or Trample 6 and one of their creatures can't block? I mean, one does more damage to the player and one does more damage to the game state. I don't know. I like making people discard cards. It was voted the #1 most obnoxious mechanic in the entire game a couple years ago. So, yeah, I'd lean towards this one. It's a shame that mana cost is so tight, though. But, I mean, in any kind of Rakdos-based deck, this would be hilarious in Modern. I would absolutely play this. Plus, that artwork is like Ghost Rider meets Mad Max. I love it. Next up, hey, Summon English. Exclude. Counter target creature spell and draw a card for 3. That new version of Essence Getter where you just drop a counter on, probably a little bit better than this, but I don't know. Countering the spell and then immediately drawing a card is like not to be underrated. So I guess it depends on your deck. Aggressive decks would run Essence Capture or whatever it is. And then like not aggressive traditional blue would run Exclude, I would think. And by the way, this is a reprint, but as with everything in the set for some reason, except for 5 cards, by the way, and except for functional reprints that they're not counting for some reason, this is the first time that this will be legal in Modern because it was printed before 8th edition. So that's pretty cool. Hey, speaking of classic old cards, Diabolic Edict, what? So this was originally printed in Tempest, along with every other good card ever, because Tempest was freaking awesome. And if it looks familiar, it's because it was in Masters 25. Unfortunately, because of its rarity, even at foil, it wasn't above 50 cents. But this is such a good card. So yeah, this is just a classic, basic mechanic, just a basic bread and butter card from Black. And honestly, it really should be in Modern, because it's such a classical card. I mean, it's such a pure Black effect. It's shocking that they didn't have this in Modern already. And they could have easily thrown this into Standard. And they threw in really similar cards, but this is 2 cost, instant, target player sacks a creature. They haven't done anything quite that direct and efficient. So that is definitely going directly into my Black Death deck, one of my few Modern decks. So next up, we've got Abominable Treefolk. It's a 4 cost, Simic colored card. It has Trample and Abominable Treefolk's power and toughness are each equal to the number of snow permanents you control. So in other words, this is a useless, worthless card. I mean, yeah, if you have all snow creatures and all snow lands, ooh, there's gonna be like a 10-10 for 4 with Trample, rawr. Who cares? Nobody's building a 5-color snow deck, okay? That's never gonna happen. Not in Modern, at least. Oh, no. But wait, there's more. When Abominable Treefolk enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, because, of course, ice effect. So in the right deck, hyper powerful card. I just am convinced snow is not going to catch on as a mechanic, no matter how much they want it to. It was dumb of them to even include it in this. Next up, Fists of Flame. That's pretty much what I'm going to look like when I eat these spicy Doritos. It's 2 cost red instant, draw a card until end of turn. Target creature gets trample and gets +1 attack for each card you've drawn this turn. Oh good, they're helping out Is It even more. Thank God this isn't in Standard. I hate everything about this card. Next, Undead Augur. Oh boy, it's a 2/2 for 2, double black. Whenever Undead Augur or another zombie you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Ooh, it's an improved Midnight Reaper, something, I don't know, whatever's in Standard right now that does exactly this. Yeah, this card's insane. This is absolutely, completely bonkers insane. Every time a zombie dies, you replace it, basically. That's crazy. So next up, Munitions Expert. Wow, that's an ugly goblin. It's a 1/1 for 2 with flash, so once again, value town. That's a flying shark in the background. I just realized that. And when he enters the battlefield, you may have it deal damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of goblins you control. There we go. Oh, I hate goblins. Goblins, elves, and merfolk. Those, well, and slivers. Those are the 4 tribals that I wish would just be removed from the game permanently, and I think we're all in agreement on that, except for those of you who are play slivers, but you're part of the problem. And, oh, that was the last card. So what do you guys think about those lands? I mean, some people are like, oh, they're $100 lands. Okay. Not at this print volume, but keep dreaming. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, in the right deck, you don't care about your life total. It's more about your opponent. If you go up against Burn, it doesn't matter what you're running, you're going to care about your life total all of a sudden, okay? And if you think, oh, I'll just outdamage Burn, 1, you only go first 50% of the time, just FYI, except on Arena where it's 60-40. And 2, you're going to get them below 20 faster than Burn. Okay, good luck with that. It really is a gamble putting those into your deck. I just don't like losing the game slowly just to do a basic thing in the game, like tap and use mana. That just feels stupid to me. Now, the other thing I should point out is these are so much worse than like Chivalry, for example. Like the actual original Painlands, because, oh look, you can tap for colorless for free. So if you're like, oh, I have a little bit of generic mana on the cost of this, cool, I'll take my Painland and not take damage from it, but still be able to use it. These, no, you don't have that option. That's not good. That is very not good. So do I think people would dump into their deck Shivan Reef and Fiery Islet? Hell no, you will die. You will be dead. So like that alone, the fact that they cannot tap for colorless, to use them at all, you have to pay a life. I don't think that that's a good enough trade-off with drawing a card. It depends. I mean, in a life gain deck, sure, I'd probably put him in automatically without even thinking. It's a life gain deck, who cares? But that's virtually non-existent in Modern, so I don't know. I don't think that these will sell amazingly well. I think like Commander players will buy them right off the bat, but that's only one copy per deck. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, it's a rare land, it's a dual land, it's quick, it comes in untapped. It might be really high for the short term. I think on launch, they're going to try to get a lot of money for these at most of the vendors. But I did say, oh, they needed a good, rare, dual or better land to prop up the set value-wise. I don't think this'll do it. I mean, compared to the price of fetch lands, aren't some of them back up to like 100? Clearly, I was 100% correct in saying that this set needed fetch lands. At least 5, if not 10. It had to have them, or it risks completely falling on its face. And I think these are not what you need to rescue it. I mean, let's say these are worth 15 apiece. Okay, the boosters are like 10. That's not that great of a return. You can't just, oh, I almost sort of broke even. Oh, good, it's propping up the value of the set. It's propping up the value of that one booster. That's it. So yeah, I don't know. They better print 5 more of these bare minimum and then throw something also better in. But, oh, that's right. None of them can be modern staples, although clearly they're lying. You know, they're just taking modern staples and then upgrading them. So it's not just a reprint. It's, oh, now you need this one because this one's better. So they're reprints. I mean, let's be honest. All of these lands are reprints. They just upgraded them a little bit. Well, then in this case, downgraded them because you can't tap for colorless. But yeah, if they're going to take like some huge modern staple and just slap the word snow on it and then say, oh, it's not a reprint, it's a reprint, shut up. And I think they're going to do that. So watch for that. That's my official prediction for the future. And I'll see you guys next video.